Hey everybody, welcome to the Simhanger. My name is Mark. Thanks very much for joining me today. And in this video, we've got something special and something I've been waiting for, and that's to get my hands on the Pimax Crystal light.
But before we get started, let me express my sincere thanks to Ying and Dragon from Pimax for giving me access to the crystal light. Pre the London Roadshow, that is fully booked out. From here, Pimax is moving on to the States. If you'd like to know more, I'll leave a link in the notes below.
Let's cut to the chase. It's as good as they say it is. It's the lightest headset that Pimax have ever produced, in my opinion, considerably lighter than the Pimax Crystal itself, because of course you don't have a battery, you don't have the XR2 chip and all the gubbins that goes with it, so it's substantially lighter. And subsequently, I can tell you, not only is it great for people that wear glasses, very comfortable, but it's a comfortable VR headset overall. Now, it's heavier than something like the Quest 3, for example, as you'd expect it to be, but not enormously so, and not to a point where it's a major consideration. And to be fair, I think that's the first time I've ever said that about a Pimax headset. Now, what's so special about the crystal light? Well, it's these. The aspheric lenses, glass aspheric lenses. They have a native resolution exactly the same as the Pimax Crystal of 2880 by 2880. And you can adjust the resolution up and down as you need to. You can turn it down to something like 2160 by 2160, which is exactly the same as the HP Reverb G2. Now, what's the importance of that? Well, if you turn down that resolution to the same as the Reverb G2, do you get the same picture? Do you get the same clarity? No, you don't. Because of the fact that it's not Fresnel lenses, which is what the Reverb G2 used, you get much better clarity. So if your PC and your graphics card is capable of running the Reverb G2, well, it's capable of running this. If you're going to run at 2160 by 2160, you're probably going to need maybe a 3070 Ti or perhaps a 3080 preferably. For those of you that want to run this amazing lenses, these beautiful glass aspheric lenses at maximum resolution of 2880 by 2880, well, based on my experience with the Pimax Crystal, I would recommend that you're probably going to need something in the region of a 4070 Ti or upwards. The visuals are exactly the same as what you find in the Pimax Crystal. They're absolutely clear. You can read those instruments in your cockpit just as you could with the Pimax Crystal. This has a big advantage that you don't have all the bits and pieces that comes with the Pimax Crystal. This is a pure PC VR headset. Plug it in, one cable into your DP port, display port, and one into a USB 3 port, plug the power in, and away you go. Pimax Play, their software, I've already mentioned in a previous review how much better that software is than what historically was the case. Well, Pimax Play now for the Crystal Light recognized it immediately, picked it up, and away you run. No problems at all. Another aspect of the Pimax Crystal Light that I really like is it's got a manual adjustment for the IPD, and the IPD can be from about 58 millimeters through to 72 millimeters. Now, I've got quite a narrow IPD. I'm around about 60 or thereabouts. And so I adjusted it in to 60, put it on, it was perfectly comfortable. The lenses weren't pulling or squashing up against my nose, so that's good news. With a headset that's featuring this sort of resolution, I think it goes without saying, there's no screen door effect at all, and nor would you expect there to be. Now, in this particular headset, I didn't see any distortion at all. There is a slight distortion right on the very fringes on the horizontal view, as perhaps you would expect, but it's minor, and for most people, they wouldn't even notice that. In terms of mirror, I also didn't see any mirror in this headset at all. Now, again, that may vary from headset to headset, but my guess is if there's any mirror, which is, it's like looking through a window that's got a dirty smudge on or something like that. It's just a different in light intensities in the pixels. And you do find that on most headsets. Well, I didn't see any evidence of that. And if there is, well, it's so nominal, I don't think it would be a factor for you to take into account. The Pimax Lite comes in a number of different versions. One, you've got the backlit version or no local dimming, and they vary in price. This particular model I've got here has the local dimming, and I must say that it would be my recommendation. The colors, not only are the blacks blacker, but overall the colors are more vibrant, and the color reproduction in the Pimax Crystal was amazing, and it's absolutely no different in this headset here today. It does offer fixed foveated rendering. There's no dynamic foveated rendering in this headset. It is made for a budget, and it's very attractively priced. For example, if you decided to take the one with absolutely no frills at all, no local dimming in the UK, now of course prices will vary from area to area, region to region, but you're going to be paying well under £600. And if you take the local dimming version, well, you're probably paying just a little over £600. So that represents, in comparison to the HP Reverb G2, good value, and to any other headset on the market, good value as well. I'm very impressed with this headset, far more than I expected to be honest. The FOV is pretty much the same as the Pimax Crystal, I would say. I've done my tests, and I came out at about 103, 102 degrees thereabouts. I would say the FOV on this headset is exactly the same. The sweet spot in the Pimax Crystal is good. In the Pimax Crystal Lite, well, it's better, and considerably so, to be honest. And I don't quite know why it is like that. It's exactly the same lenses. They're both glass lenses. They're both aspheric lenses. Sound that I have is the optional extra. It's the DMAS sound, the over-ear sound. This is not as it would come with as default. This would be an additional purchase, which in the UK would cost you something in the region of about another £80 thereabouts, but it's certainly a worthwhile investment. This is some of the best sound you can get, exactly the same as the HP Reverb G2, valve index and so on. It's a tried and tested, and you get that positional sound which really adds to the immersion.
You can use this with base stations with an optional faceplate, but I really enjoy the freedom that inside-out tracking provides. And with regards to tracking, well, no complaints there. Overall, I spent about 2 hours with the Crystal Lite, and I think finally Pimax may well have hit the nail on the head by creating an uncomplicated VR headset that's focused on one thing, that's delivering amazing images with acceptable performance levels focused on PC VR. For those Reverb G2 owners out there looking for the next step, well, this certainly has to be a serious contender. As a flight simmer, and that's all I do is flight sim, I actually prefer this headset to the Pimax Crystal itself. But I'll go further than that, and for a simulation type experience, well, I think that this headset could disrupt the market. And for applications such as Microsoft Flight Simulator, it just made trying to justify spending $2,000 or more on a VR headset even more difficult. That is likely to be the case for the vast majority of users. I have a Crystal Lite on its way to me, but it's not likely to be here until later in June. Once I have my hands on it, I'll certainly be giving you more details on what I consider to be an excellent VR headset and a welcome addition to the market.
The rest of it, well, there's not a lot to say. It's a basic headset that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm very impressed, and although this is my first look, and this again is perhaps the first time I've ever done it, for a Pimax headset, in fact probably for any VR headset, well, even on my first look, it's a recommended buy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions or queries, please pop them in the comments below, Stay well, look after yourselves. I'll see you all again very soon, and ciao for now.